we're going to watch the Lex Updog latest update video. It's like 50 minutes long. Here's how DonDRRR and SuperMega lied about my SA. So, obviously, this is Lex Updog. She accused DonDRRR of forcing her head down to make her perform oral when she did not want to. DonDRRR said she kind of went along with it, said, don't be too rough. He put his hand on the back of her head and she freaked out. And then he was accommodating and they were fine afterwards. And then they broke up like months later when they next met in person. Because this was like mostly an online relationship. It was like, yeah, it's Twitter artists. So what'd you expect? She also claimed that DonDRRR based a character, like a little mascot character that he drew off of her, and that it was a extended form of abuse against her. And then she was at a SuperMega party, and this other guy like forced a kiss on her or something, but she followed him into the closet, and then he forced a kiss on her, because that's what like adult women do when they don't want to kiss someone, is they follow them into closets when beckoned. If an adult man beckons an adult woman into a closet at a party and she goes, that means she's not interested. So we're going to start watching this. She's got some research linked. This is a new strategy. I don't know if I've seen this tech before. Linking the academic papers, the studies, the surveys in the allegation description is a new one. Hopefully she cites these in the video. Hopefully I know when to pull these up and we can look over these, but we'll have a look.
Doing well. It's been a while. We got some stuff to look at and some stuff to talk about. So
Do we?
I don't really have much to say. I think we should get into it. So for
Let's
just
go.
a quick recap, just going to go through what's been going on since I posted my last video that's on this channel. I posted my video and Rav posted his corresponding Twitter post with mine on July 27th, 2020.
Oh, that Rav loser. That guy sucks, man.
In it,
Holy
I give a little background
fuck.
on Don and I's relationships past, and then I go on to detail the assault that happened.
I also think it's funny. I think it's fun. Sorry. I think it's funny that this comes out right as SuperMega make their triumphant return as well. I find that a little bit interesting. I do find that a little bit interesting. Because look, they're kind of back. Like, I mean, are they hitting like they were hitting? Like 50k there? 700k? Like, how'd they hit 700k here? That's just crazy. Dude, they've been... See, you can't make me hate these guys. They could have giga-raped 100 kids, but the work ethic is just crazy. To get Turbo cancelled, go away, and then just spend 6 months just putting together an insane amount of content and come back with just like uploads every other fucking day and try and scrape your career back. That's just so fucking base. Like, and this is a new one as well. This has got to be brand new. They're making this now because they made an OJ Simpson Forever in Our Hearts video.
Hey guys, Matt and Ryan here. We are here today because someone who was very involved with our hearts and the channel has passed away, and we wanted to give the proper respect to them. Yeah, so we ask if you could just, respect our privacy at this time while we grieve.
Silent Bob.
And before you know it, we'll be back to making the funnies. But for now, we need to take a little time for ourselves. So thank you guys.
Thank you. Fuck, dude. Like, how can you hate these guys? How can you hate these guys at all? I don't understand. Like, they kind of been back as well. They have kind of been back. Two months. Okay, that's enough. This is like Lonely Island type stuff. This doesn't hit for me in 2024, but I appreciate the fact that they're out here doing it still. That's like Lonely Island type. Tim and Eric, yeah. Well, they did kind of make gay cringe content. They kind of they made like Let's Plays for a very long time, but then they also did like sketch comedy stuff and songs and this sort of shit. And then Matt Watson, the guy with the tall guy, is it Matt Watson? No, I'm thinking of someone else, aren't I? Matt, what's his? No, it is Matt Watson. Yeah, this one, the guy with AIDS. No, the other guy with AIDS, the tall guy. Sorry, had like a music career and shit. Like, I don't want to play too much of it because I assume that one's copywritten. So Lex Updog tried to kill these people. This was one of the first recent recorded attacks on White Boy Swag, I think. I think she saw... The thing is that there's this dynamic that was going on where Lex Updog here was... Just to refresh you guys, if you don't remember, she was, or is, dating Ethan is Online, Pethan, who's the guy who was beefing with Alex Rosen recently, the pedo hunter. And Pethan and Green Nick had a band together called Queef Jerky. And Lex was in the music video for that. Green Nick's singer, pop, girlfriend from TikTok was in there, was in one of the music videos. So they were all like a little friend group. And they didn't like SuperMega anyway. They hated SuperMega as it was. And I feel like they all felt like SuperMega's music and Matt Watson's little pop career, where all these teenage girls were buying his merch and screaming his name. I think they were a bit mad. I think they kind of thought, well, why aren't the teenage girls screaming my name? So that's what really kind of motivated a lot of this. Because the initial video, it's not even about Don, the initial one. It wasn't even about Don. We get like 5 minutes of, oh yeah, Don was like a kind of emotionally distant boyfriend and he kind of like maybe sexually assaulted me this one time. So, okay. And then the rest of it is like, I was on the brink of homelessness. The only thing I had to stay in was my 30 grand Range Rover. I had to buy a 30 grand Range Rover. It was, none of it was about Don. It was all just about how SuperMega were kicking her out and not letting her live there for free anymore. So, really, it didn't seem like it was about the sexual assault. Jeep.
That took place by Don, how I tried to handle it with him offline, and I go into explaining why it took 2 years to say anything by going into detail about the events afterwards. I go into Matt and Ryan's reaction, or lack thereof, and detailing their dishonesty towards me after coming forward about the assault by Don, asking with help to avoid him, and the subsequent attempt to make up without my consent or like knowledge at all by Matt and Ryan. I go on to detail the events that led me to realize that their actions were on purpose and manipulative, such as simply refusing to speak to me after it was known that I was unhappy with the response about Don, and using that against me to emotionally blackmail me due to the fact that I was unhappy with them.
Food Shops super chatted $9.99.
So,
In a just society, Lex Updog would be Lex put down dog.
Thank you, Max, for the $9.99. Okay, dude. Is that even? I don't know about that one. Right, we were told you're still upset with how we handled the Don situation. Is this not true? If the problems you're talking about aren't that and just an off vibe, then yeah, we've caught it too. Or whether it's a standoffishness we're getting from you, acting in a rude manner when invited to my birthday, or what seemed to be direct negative sarcasm in a recent group chat. Okay, but they're not being even if this is true. The night of the birthday party Ryan is referring to here happened the same day they tried to get me to talk it out with the guy who assaulted me without my consent. So this is talking about Don. So even if this is true, this still doesn't mean they're being dishonest. How are they being dishonest?
Me after it was known that I was unhappy with the response about Dawn and using that against me to emotionally blackmail me.
Where's the emotional blackmail here? Where's the emotional blackmail here? We can't listen. I won't make a firm statement on whether Don assaulted her or not. We cannot be 100% certain. We don't. None of us were there. I won't make a firm statement against it. Or no. There's obviously though. There's no evidence that Don assaulted her. There's no evidence. We can't prove that it happened. So just don't go crazy over it. I was there. He didn't do it. Yes, we can. You didn't do it. Okay. No one's saying she was telling the truth. No one's saying she was telling the truth. So, yeah, I just don't see the emotional blackmail here. I'm missing it. Thank you, Kuni, and a great message with that membership there. Open your wallets, open your hearts, and like the stream. Great message there, guys. Great message. Please remember to open your wallets, open your hearts, and please like the stream. Thank you. Yeah, I'm not seeing the emotional blackmail. I don't even know what she's referring to here. I feel like just saying what, like, apparently you're unhappy about this. With detective, it has seemed like you're being kind of, confrontational with us. Like, what's the emotional blackmail there? That's just addressing, like, a problem.
Due to the fact that I was unhappy with them, or emotionally blackmailing me over being sad at Ryan's birthday party, despite having seen Don, the guy who assaulted me that same very day by his own fault. So, in the video with speaking about how I want to move on from what happened and heal from my trauma. Don's first apology, he deleted the day after, so that's cool. I found it on Know Your Meme, so shout out to whoever did that. So Don starts off by apologizing to Lex.
Oh wait, this is Don's first response. Oh, okay.
He deleted the day after, so that's cool. I found it on Know Your Meme, so shout out to whoever did that. So Don starts off by apologizing to Lex for any trauma that she may feel regarding.
Stylo, look. I genuinely, like, I see people who take SSRIs. I see people who take Adderall. And it just makes me think it's all just evil. It just makes me think it's evil. It scares me. It makes me think it's all just demonic. Why would you ever do this to yourself? Why would you do this to yourself?
Regarding our past relationship, and then goes on to apologizing to the people who, quote, may feel like they were being lied to or kept in the dark. He retells the assault as, I asked her for oral sex and she said no at first because she had a cold sore. This implies I said yes. I had a cold sore and I didn't want to give him anything, and I explicitly declined oral multiple times as he was attempting to coerce me and force me to do so, despite giving clear indication that as then and that morning that I didn't want to. He told me it was fine. It wasn't fine. There was a lot of splitting hairs of if I was actually forced to or not because of Don downplaying what he did, not realizing that that's coercion, asking someone multiple.
Again, the same talking point. Asking someone multiple times is coercion. Not on its own. At a certain level, yeah.
F that nibbo blacks, on God's God.
Okay, so you tried to get that through once before and it obviously didn't play. Because you said fuck, I think. But thank you for the 666 in total, Emery. Thank you. So, yeah, if someone asks you, like if he asked in the morning and then asked in the evening, that's not very coercive, is it? It really is it at all. He's not like putting a lot of pressure on you there. You've had quite a lot of time to sort of recover from the first ask. If someone's like, yo, can you suck my dick? Can you suck my dick? Can you suck my dick? Yo, Lex, suck my dick. Yo, Lex, can you suck my dick? Sort of like that, again and again. Yeah, that starts to feel like there's pressure and coercion. But that's not what seems to have been... Okay, we'll see.
Times over and over. I don't really understand
over
how
and
that's
over.
Not hard to understand,
okay.
Unless you really just like downplaying assault. Later I asked again and she said yes, but be careful not to be too rough. Hold on, let me share this. What he's describing is not assault. He's just describing like a sex act. In his first post, he says, quote,
well, yeah, no, yes. Well, yeah, obviously that's what he's describing. Yeah.
During the intimate act, I had pushed her down on her head, after which she recoiled and told me that I was being too rough. During this time, I was under no impression that anything traumatizing had occurred. However, I realize now that this was extremely traumatizing for her. It's like, okay, he's like talking about me like a dog that like just heard thunder. And
what? Okay.
During this time, I was under no impression that anything traumatizing had occurred. However, I realize now that this was extremely traumatizing for her. It's like, okay, he's like talking about me like a dog that like just heard thunder.
This is how you people want to be spoken about. This is literally how you want to be spoken about, isn't it? This is how you all talk about yourselves. I thought this was the way you were meant to do it.
And like head under the bed. He says, I then profusely apologized and we ended up watching TV and going to bed after. That's not how I recall it at all. So that's interesting, because how I recall it is consenting to sex because I was freaked out and scared after that, and then getting choked and blacking out. That's what I remember.
Blacking out? What? Getting choked and blacking out? This is it. Was that in it before? Is that new? Is that a patch note? First patch note found? I haven't heard the blacking out claim before. Don got a python. Yeah, like blacking out. Okay, listen, like that's this is a like, what are we saying when we say blacking out? Because blacking out can be either you go unconscious, or she's saying like she started like she was choking so much she's like on the edge of consciousness or losing vision or something like that, right? So this is like, we are talking about Don was going for it if this is the case, right? Yeah, he has to have been. Like, I'm thinking about some e-fucked videos right now. That's the level we're at. I'm thinking about e-fucked videos. I'm thinking about facial abuse meltdown compilation 3. That's what I'm thinking right now.
How I recall it is consenting to sex because I was freaked out and scared after that, and then getting choked and blacking out. That's what I remember. So that's interesting that you don't remember such a discrepancy. Very cool. Don goes on to speak about our relationship after the assault, explaining that our relationship seemed to have not changed. Don in his post describes going home and SuperMega not using his art anymore, then cutting contacts with him afterwards, and apologizing to me again.
Thank you for the membership, Edgar.
Via Discord, and for some reason includes that he got no reply.
Oh, thoughts on the plastic surgery rumors? I thought someone said it. There was a no-show confirmation though in this video.
More than cutting contacts with him afterwards, and apologizing to me again via Discord, and for some reason includes that he got no reply. It genuinely just feels like he doesn't understand that he did something bad. Like, it just kind of feels like he's like, come on guys, it's no big deal. Like, he should just, it's a you problem. His apology was received pretty badly, considering that Don mostly corroborated my story from the POV of a guy who's trying to sidestep accountability for assaulting someone by implying it could be my fault for Don assaulting instead, I guess.
Well, no, it was your fault. Just that it was a consensual encounter, a mostly consensual encounter with a what we'll call an unsanctioned maneuver. An unsanctioned maneuver of pushing the head down.
Recording, I got up and forgot the third paragraph of Don's first apology that was deleted, so I'm filling in now for that part. In this particular paragraph, Don says, "At this time, I had contacted Matt and told him what had just gone down." So
she does look like she had work done, doesn't she? To be fair,
implies that Matt was told first about my assault by Don, and
like, oh yeah,
his side of the story. At his house, I'd explained to him and Ryan what happened and the details about the November trip and what she had told me after Creator Clash. So Don got to LA on May 23rd. So Don's side of the story was the first one to be heard. Don goes on to say, after that, I was staying over at his place for the next couple of weeks. Don's stay at Matt's house was around May 23rd to June 14th, the day that I saw him. Don got to the office a couple days before the day I saw him. Later, Matt had told me that he had made some arrangements.
Listen, don't make me defend like
for his friends to sleep over at his place, moving me to stay at the office. Don goes on to say, a couple days at the office had passed when Matt called me and said that Lex was on her way to the office. So this was June 14th. Don says, I was given no prior notice that she was going to be there or moving to LA. It was at this time that I decided to leave to stay with other friends in the area. Don's second apology was on July 29th, 2 days after my video. Don seems to have pivoted from his...
Okay, I was any of that relevant?
That he had made some arrangements for his friends to sleep over at his place, moving me to stay at the office. Don goes on to say, a couple days at the office had passed when Matt called me and said that Lex was on her way to the office. So this was June 14th. Don says, I was given no prior notice that she was going to be there or moving to LA. It was at this time that I decided to leave to stay with other friends in the area. Don's second apology was on July 29th, 2 days after my video.
She would improve 80% by not using child-proof scissors to cut her hair. Dude, it makes so much sense.
Don seems to have pivoted from his argument corroborating my story to extending sympathy, then implying I'm either overreacting or a straight-up liar. Don apologizes to everyone he's upset first, then me. He references things that have been said rather than saying what he did or saying what was said. References his first now deleted post and saying it had poor wording. Don shifts blame and says I shouldn't have tried to ask her again, even if it was just twice. Don starts to talk about things.
Well, was it just twice? Well, how many times? Would you disagree with that?
unrelated to what happened between him and I, such as how our relationship continued afterwards, implying I didn't have a problem with him. He lists the times he's apologized, the night it happened, when I talked to him about it in person and online. Don addresses SuperMega's part in this, that he was not informed about my arrival.
I don't... If it wasn't just twice, surely that would have been the perfect time to have said, hey, actually, he was asking me constantly. She said over and over earlier, but that's not... That doesn't necessarily disagree with the idea it was twice.
To the SuperMega office. He mentions Matt's house, but I didn't go there during his stay. Don addresses my mentioning of Cassette Girl being based off of me and decides to imply I'm lying. He does this by saying it was based off of a SoundCloud he was listening to in 2017, following up with, the character is in no way related to Lex. Don must have not remembered telling me directly multiple times that she is based off of me. Don following up with, the character is in no way related to Lex. Don must have not remembered telling me directly multiple times that she is...
I can be your Cassette Girl ref model for you if you want. Easy refs for content for her, by the way. Yes, I based her body type of you anyway. Body type. He says body type. Not that the character was based off of Lex. The body type. That does not mean the whole character is you, Lex. That does not mean the character is you, Lex. This is narcissism. I'm sorry. I'm calling it. I'm calling it. I'm calling it. I call it every day. I know. This is me watching. Yes, me watching JJK. They based this character off of me. They based this character off of me.
Is based off of me. Don mentions the art he posted before his apology for some reason, I guess because people were commenting on it. It just seems like a really weird way of deflecting. Don then ends the post by...
Hellbent super chatted $6.15. Poll your chat for how many men push woman's head to get slashed during head. It's super
I'm not
normal.
polling that.
She used a regular sex act as a pretense for the accusations.
I'm not polling it, but I agree with the sentiment. I agree with the message there. It does. This isn't a crazy thing. This happens. If you don't like it, then say no, and then hopefully the guy stops, I guess. Apparently, it sounds like Don did. I mean, it sounds like, according to Don's statement, he did anyway, because apparently they had a big cuddle session where he was like, oh, I'm sorry that you didn't realize that was coming, didn't like that. I didn't realize that was going to be an issue. Stylo. Put a 1 in chat if you glocked your girl before. That shit feel gooder than a bitch. Stylo, you're ill, dude. What's the 3 mean? What does 3 mean? It was only 1. Why are you guys saying 3?
Talking about himself and
yes, I know. Yes, I know. Retard. Oh my, you guys are so retarded. Assaulted me
essentially admitted that he did it a very roundabout, terrible way. I mean, obviously somebody that would do that wouldn't admit to it, but he corroborated my story and hid it in real time. And people caught on to it after he had deleted the first one that incriminated him more and began to hold him accountable for being a weirdo and a creep and lamenting his wrongdoings because they liked his art or respected him. And the replies to me at this time were condolences, messages of encouragement, and confusion.
Oh man, this is good. This is like a recap episode. This is like a trip down memory lane right now. Going back to the SuperMega drama, man. Remembering how it was. First day, everyone on Lex's side. I remember my screenshots getting posted on the SuperMega subreddit. Everyone called me a rape apologist. And it slowly turned. It was so cool, man. They were all like posting. What were they saying? They were like SuperMega fans posting pictures of their bongs with SuperMega stickers that they'd put on there. And being like, Might have to throw this bong out. Can't get the fucking sticker off. Shit like that.
About how this happened and why, which, yeah, me too, honestly. After this time, it gets a little weird, though. People immediately jumped onto it on YouTube, so that's the first thing that's weird.
That's me,
Justin
right
sent
now.
me a DM on July
I think I was actually one of the first to cover her initial video.
28th, which was, what is it? It's the day of Don's first apology. He expressed guilt for not knowing what happened between Don and I. He expresses concern for everyone involved and went into detail about his past with Matt and about how he felt groomed by him and groomed into bad behavior from him by an early age. Kelly DMs me on Instagram on the 28th. However, I did not screenshot this. We weren't following each other, so it was a message request, so I forgot to open it. But now she has me blocked, so I can't go get it even if I wanted to. So there's that. Kelly's message was,
My conspiracy, she made this up in a convo with Ethan as per her first vid as an excuse why she was still dating Don, well, already trying to get with Ethan. I mean, even if it wasn't an excuse, I feel like this is a thing that, I thought this is a BPD woman trait, is get new boyfriend. Oh yeah, by the way, my ex-boyfriend, yeah, sucked in bed, raped me, tiny dick, no money. Doesn't do any work. I feel like they just say that to the next partner each time. I feel like that happens. I think it's like, if I were to guess, if I were to put the epic psychology lenses on, I'd say it's probably masking, trying to, or what is it? Is it masking? That's what they call it, isn't it? Where the BPD tries to appeal to the new person. And they're like, so what they do is they try and accommodate for the new person's potential insecurities about the woman's previous relationship by just relentlessly shitting on the last guy and being like, oh yeah, you're so much better. You're so much better in every way. He's like a rapist, pedophile, murderer with no money. Oh yeah, you're so much better. You're so much better. I feel like that's how they go. That's how they roll.
She basically was doing the same thing Justin was extending an apology, and she told me that she wouldn't have taken the job back had she have known what had happened. I assume being in that position, the replacement of a guy without having known was probably very icky. Nick's first video corroborating mine would have came out on the 29th, which is the second apology that Don made, the day of. Pretty much.
People shit talking their ex is always weird. I'm like, yeah, exactly. Imagine you're Ethan, right? Like already, if I, speak to someone, I get that sense that they're like insane about their ex and like just totally lying. That's already a huge like, okay, you are not a trustworthy individual. But imagine you meet a girl for the first time, you're resin, and her opening gambit to you on that night is, oh yeah, my current boyfriend raped me. Whoa, okay. I see how this is gonna go. Time to leave. I'm good. I'm Pethan. I'm a big YouTuber. I don't need this. I don't need this.
Much in the video, he gives us a synopsis of mine, gives commentary while he looked at the SuperMega Reddit, subreddit. Not really anything, like, not really hard-hitting journalism. I don't really know what anyone expected from this, besides just, like, hearing a summary of a 2-hour video in hindsight, because I feel like it got blown up way more than it did, just because it's, like, the only video that isn't, like, a right-winger guy that's, like, screaming about, like, OnlyFans or something.
Let's go!
Anyway, the next day, Jim apologizes, and he starts trauma dumping. Actually, sorry. That same day, actually, Jim apologizes in a video. I have the link.
I don't think me or Chad... I mean... Who's right wing that covers this, really?
Anything, like, not really hard-hitting journalism. I don't really know what anyone expected from this, besides just, like, hearing a summary of a 2-hour video in hindsight, because I feel like it got blown up way more than it did, just because it's like the only video that isn't like a right-winger guy that's like screaming about
Is that about the Turkey Tom video?
like OnlyFans or something. Anyway,
I assume that is about Chud, a right-winger guy screaming about OnlyFans. That's got to be about Chud.
The next day, Jim apologizes and he starts trauma dumping. Actually, sorry. That same day, actually, Jim apologizes in a video. I have the link for it because he is DMCAing people. Anyone who re-uploads that video that is DMCAing people. Actually, sorry. That same day, actually, Jim apologizes in a video. I have the link for it because he is DMCAing people. Anyone who re-uploads that video...
Bro took it down from Internet Archive. Now that is a Chad maneuver, gotta say. Listen, we hate when Taylor Lorenz calls up her uncle. But covering up your bullshit sexual assault allegations from some woman using Internet Archive takedowns, that's epic. That's epic.
That is apologizing to me. The only one that's specifically an apology to me. He is DMCAing it for anyone that posts it. So I've put it in my Dropbox and it will go in the description. And Jim, if you do it, I will re-upload it somewhere else and I will tell people that you did it. So it's up to you. It's just gonna Streisand effect. It was sent to me. I have the file now.
What? Okay, keep uploading it. Get sued. Sue her. Jim, sue her. That is your intellectual... That apology video is your intellectual property, Jim. Sue her.
You shouldn't have said sorry or whatever you're ashamed of. Boosting and giving me support? I don't know. He also trauma dumped in my text messages. He sent me a...
Okay. Lex, I can't even begin to express how sorry I am that I made you feel uncomfortable last year. Hearing your explanation of events that night has made me truly disgusted at how my actions affected you and caused you pain. As someone who was a victim of a violent sexual assault by a man in college, I thought I knew better. Please know that in my mind and in my heart, I genuinely remember asking if I could kiss you. But hearing about that night from your point of view, I understand how horrible my timing was. I think this has really opened my eyes about how being intoxicated played a role in not reading the situation correctly. And I know it doesn't change the past. I'm going to be really taking a step away from alcohol for a bit. I know this text, a year later, can't ease the pain I caused that night and beyond, but please, please, know that I'm so unbelievably, I don't know. Where is that? Okay, I guess it cuts off and I can't get the next bit. Please know that in my mind, in my heart, I genuinely remember asking if I could kiss you, but hearing about the night from your POV, I understand how horrible my timing was. Wait, no, this is that bit. Okay, it's just down here. I'm retarded. So unbelievably sorry, I had no clue until yesterday how that night affected you and how wrong my actions were. And if there is anything I can do to help ease your pain, I will. I'm sorry, Lex. I would love to get a coffee and talk to you and apologize further, but understand if you're not open to that. I know you've got a lot going on at the moment. Okay.
A text message where he just trauma dumped and gave me description of an assault he dealt with.
Well, he didn't really. He just said... Well, no. He just said... He made the comment. He said, hey, I've been there. I thought I wouldn't do this to someone. Sorry. That's... That's not trauma dumping, and that's not, like, describing. He just says, this happened. I thought I knew better.
Without warning, and then asked me for coffee.
Without warning. Sorry, there was no trigger warning in the text message, Lex. Sorry, he thought he was talking to another adult, not a retarded child. Yeah.
And I did not respond. I goes without saying, I think, why I wouldn't have responded to that. I don't even know what you can say to that. It was just, like, purely overwhelming. No. Did not feel safe going with the guy that put me in a headlock and kissed me after I told him about my assault. Despite being the kindest and least accusatory out of all the videos addressed to me, many clocked him immediately on trauma dumping and centering himself in the argument. Or whatever you want to call it, in his apology. I say argument just because it became one, obviously.
Right, well, okay.
So that was pretty funny. Also the flies were fun. All right, so Matt and Ryan's videos came out.
Yeah, wait. What happened to the headlock? Wait, no, headlock isn't new. Headlock isn't new. Headlock is not new. What are you on?
Out of all the videos addressed to me.
Where did you say headlock here, though?
Least accusatory out of all the videos addressed to me. Many clocked him immediately on trauma dumping and centering himself in the argument. Or whatever you want to call it, in his apology. I say argument just because it became one, obviously. So that was pretty funny. Also the flies were fun. All right, so Matt and Ryan's videos came out on the 31st of July. And this is the
the headlock was in the original.
The official beginning of the invalidating, minimizing, and blame shifting.
Well, yeah, there wasn't that. I can't find it, but the headlock was in the first allegation. Absolutely.
Monk super chatted $5. I hate the way these people talk. So smug. So condescending to no one in particular. Vile and evil.
Thank you, Monk, for the $5. Thank you.
Matt and Ryan decided to ignore most of the things that they could address from my video, instead opting to spend their respective videos defending themselves, despite claims against doing so. They stress that they have been nothing short of supportive, with no responses to my claims of them having put me in bad situations because they neglected to be supportive or communicative, and having attributed them to even extending my trauma after my assault. And he goes,
oh, these adults, these other adults weren't parenting me enough. These other adults weren't taking good enough care of me. Oh no. Me, an almost 30-year-old woman, was not taken care of by these other adults. Get a grip. Grow the fuck up. If you don't want to be in a situation, don't be there.
Goes on to imply that my version of events are so far from reality that Matt felt the need to clarify multiple times that he wasn't trying to invalidate my sexual assault. The proof he uses to imply that my recollection of events aren't true are claims of him claiming that every quote I gave him, not in writing, was falsified.
When it comes to Rav's text, Matt shows Rav's text out of order, such as implying Rav was confused as well.
Rav was also trying to figure out what had gone down.
Or using text of Rav
What is with this extra bit being added in here, this narration? We're having a short narration only break here, insert.
It wasn't as serious to support his argument.
Here you can see some text messages between myself and Rav.
May 23rd.
Where Rav is saying that he figured out a little more context on the situation at one point.
These texts were sent when Rav had only heard Don's side of the story, which was rough sex. Matt goes on and lies and says that Rav told him first.
I don't remember exactly, but I think Rav was the one who told me initially on my balcony one night, and he told me that Don had sexually assaulted Lex.
When Rav was only told Don's side of the story by Matt and Ryan until I told Rav directly around mid-June 2022. Also, Matt's including Rav when it really wasn't.
Wait, what?
Lex.
When Rav was only told Don's side of the story by Matt and Ryan until I told Rav.
Until I told Rav the story. Do you think for sure Matt and Ryan went to the same room and Ryan called me? There's 2 rooms, but I figured Matt up there, and Matt is a snake. But I figured I'd ask if you knew for sure. Did you act different after the call? Vibe change? Just asking because I realized I didn't ask more info about the whole event of you being there. They both left the balcony and they got on the phone together. Either way, shortly after the call ended, all 3 of us were informed. Basically, all 3 of us basically felt like that really sucks because up until that point we didn't know the situation. You feel me? So they both told you, or Ryan told you, Matt. Since they left the balcony for the call, I was separated from them for a while. Can't say much with certainty whether they were definitely together when you were talking with Ryan. Okay, but no one... no one here seems to know who told them. Rav seems to have some impression that it might have been Ryan who told him. Matt says Rav told him. I mean, there's not even necessarily a contradiction here. I mean, it's unlikely that I imagine that Matt and Ryan wouldn't share info, but there's not even necessarily a contradiction there, first of all. And second of all, no one seems to... They're all referring to this conversation that happened on a balcony where someone told everyone else. But no one knows who initially brought it up. No one can quite remember. So who cares?
Rav directly around mid-June 2022. Also, Matt's including Rav when it really wasn't relevant for him to know what happened to me at the time. Don was staying at Matt's house. It was only relevant for him and Ryan to know what happened, so they could keep Don away from me. Another way they co-sign themselves in their own confusion and inaction is by bringing up about how they had supposedly told Ross in their own volition about what Don had done.
We also updated those who we knew that were working with him of the situation.
And we did not cover this up from other people. For example, I was the one who told Ross over the phone because Ross had a show with Dawn.
Why did you edit in the Lex? Why did you edit in the
needed to know this?
When that's just not the truth. I'm the one that told Rav to tell Ross what happened. And the only reason why Rav didn't tell him...
Sorry, I've been trying to talk to you for weeks, but you never wrote before. I'm just gonna have a short story as follows. Last time I met Don sexually assaulted Lex at Mac's place. Matt and Ryan no longer work with Don. Neither do I. Thought you ought to know. Oh damn, it's pretty serious. As I suspected. I wish someone told me when I was going to start a show with him. Well, okay, so...
Had a show with Dawn and I felt like he needed to know this.
That they didn't say it was sexual assault.
And that's just not the truth. I'm the one that told Rav to tell Ross what happened. And the only reason why Rav didn't tell him himself was because we were in the mountains still from...
But look. Okay, that's pretty damn serious as I suspected. I wish someone told me. It seems like he's already got some idea of something beforehand. That's pretty serious as I suspected. That's coming from somewhere. Is there previous messages here that we need to see? Or is this because Matt has said on the phone to this Ross guy, he said, hey, this girl's accusing Don of some stuff. We've cut working with him. We don't know the exact truth of it. We can't share all the details. The girls don't want to share all the details, which she admits. She says she told them, don't share the story. Or that it was fine to not, or that she didn't want it to go public or whatever. So they said, they gave Cliff Notes. They were like, hey, girls accusing guys, something's been a bad interaction. We're not working with them anymore. And then Ross was like, you know, it could be bad, but I'll just go along with it. I'm sure it'll be fine. And now he's gone along with it, and now he's finding out it's sexual assault, and now he's like, oh, someone should have told me. Someone should have told me, even though he took the risk, knowing that there was something. Okay, dude.
For my mom's birthday, so we ran out of internet, and Ross was worried and ended up calling Matt himself. And for that, the only reason why Ross ever figured out what happened between me and Dawn is because Ross got worried and had to call Matt himself, which Ross says himself in his stream.
Summary here. The YouTube show Don was made because they were friends, and Don told Ross he was in a bad financial situation. Ross even gave him the money from a sponsorship to help him out. Matt first told him he kicked Don out of his house for being a mess. Then after creating a clash, when Don went back to LA, he was acting weird and avoiding seeing Ross in person. Rav suggested to Ross something had happened but couldn't talk at the time due to traveling with Lex and having bad signal. Ross called Matt, and it was him who told him what happened, after which Ross immediately killed his YouTube show with Don. Ross didn't talk about the situation, so it was Lex's story to tell. He just replied to people asking about it. He was made aware of something and had to kill it. But wait, so he did... It seems like he did the same thing that SuperMega did then. So wait, are we not accusing Ross of covering this up? This was the same thing that they were doing. Don't talk about the situation. It's Lex's story to tell. Like, yeah, sure. So Matt first told him he kicked Don out of his house for being a mess. But what is that in reference? I would have to see the quote here, because here's the thing, is that can be two things. Either they said he's a mess as in he's awful to live around, he's messy. Or it can be, he's a mess, as in, this guy's a fucking mess. Like, this guy's like a lunatic. This guy's a mess, and he's causing damage to people around him. Because, hey, we're cutting this guy off because he's a fucking mess. Like, yeah, without telling the exact details, I'd say that's... I mean, yeah, sure. Is there really a problem there? They're not going to tell the story. Did you want them to tell the story? You should have probably told them that you want them to tell everyone that you were sexually assaulted, if that's what you wanted them to tell people. Because I wouldn't assume that you want me to tell everyone your rape story.
That he called Matt himself. But for some reason, Matt and Ryan take it upon themselves to make it sound as if they went through their own volition to tell Ross, when really, especially Ryan, has nothing to do with telling anyone. While watching this, keep in mind that this is the supposed motive of them getting us to meet and talk it out. Despite the whole point of me calling to speak about my assault was to ask them to keep me away from Don.
To be honest, Ryan and I were scared of this whole situation. Me and Ryan organized a meeting with him at our office where we sat him down and confronted him about this. We asked him what had happened that night, and he explained it from his perspective, which was very different from Lex's perspective. We felt a little confused on what had happened that night, which I now see was an absolutely, terrible, terrible move, suggesting that.
He explained away the assault, excusing it as a miscommunication of boundaries in an intimate moment, and we told Don if he truly believed that, if he truly believed that it was a boundary miscommunication.
I think she expected them to tell people Don was a rapist with zero elaboration or explanation. Yet, like, I don't get it. Isn't revenge meant to be bad? Even if this guy raped you, isn't revenge meant to be bad? Aren't you supposed to, like, not get revenge? Isn't it supposed to be about, like, preventing bad things from happening to people in the future and preventing this person from hurting other people or getting worse and hurting people more? Isn't that what it's meant to be about? Is everyone else supposed to play into your revenge plan against this guy? Is everyone else is meant to just be like, oh yeah, this guy did something wrong to you, so we're going to just try and hurt him as much as possible? I don't think that's how we should operate.
Then he should apologize to Lex directly. This was, of course, the wrong decision.
Having a victim and an abuser, telling them to, maybe to talk to each other, horrible.
I have text messages from Matt saying they talked with Don and it went well, and we had a phone call about it. So that's funny that you tell me that it's fine, and then you go on YouTube and tell the public that you were confused, because Matt called me and told me as such and gave no indication of being confused. So they either lied to me at the time, or they lied to you to change whatever you would think.
And the whole time I was none the wiser on what had actually taken place between him and Lex, and if I had known, I would not have invited him out to LA to stay with me. I would not have housed him.
And then, despite going in depth about why they...
Okay, guys, real talk. What would you rather? Forced to suck a dick, or have your entire career ruined irreparably? But which one? One or two? Forced to suck a dick, or entire career ruined irreparably? Well, imagine you have a dream career. Imagine you're a Twitter artist, making an actual living off of it. You've got whatever your version of that is. Bro, what? 3? Either way, I'm killing myself. Okay.
Horrible.
I have text messages from Matt saying they talked with Don and it went well, and we had a phone call about it. So that's funny that you tell me that it's fine, and then you go on YouTube and tell the public that you were confused, because Matt called me and told me as such and gave no indication of being confused. So they either lied to me at the time, or they lied to you to change whatever you would think.
And the whole time I was none the wiser on what had actually taken place between him and Lex, and if I had known, I would not have invited him out to LA to stay with me. I would not have housed him.
And then, despite...
I would not have invited him out.
Once Don was at his house and he did know, not only did he do nothing, he posted Don onto his Twitter. This picture is still up. What? Okay.
To change whatever you would think.
And the whole time, I was none the wiser on what had actually taken place between him and Lex. And if I had known, I would not have invited him out.
So when is this? June 17th? June 7th? When did he know exactly about? Okay. Yeah, so it does seem...
And we had a phone call about it. So that's funny that you tell me that it's fine, and then you go on YouTube and tell the public that you were confused, because Matt called me and told me as such and gave no indication of being confused. So they either lied to me at the time, or they lied to you to change whatever you would think.
And the whole time, I was none the wiser on what had actually taken place between him and Lex. And if I had known, I would not have invited him out to LA to stay with me.
Yeah, I mean, it does seem like, Matt, that doesn't seem to be correct. It does seem like Don's here, June 7th, and he was told in May.
I would not have housed him.
And then, despite going in depth about why they tried to get Don and I to speak, Matt says this.
I never intended for them to come in contact with each other. As soon as I realized my mistake, I told Don he had to leave the office and to come in contact with each other. As soon as I realized my mistake...
Actually, Matt, I'm not really mad at you, but I gotta say this. This is kind of messed up. You should told me like Issa said, I didn't know until a few hours ago. I'm sorry, man. I'm trying to scrum around like 5 people right now, trying my best here. Okay.
Mistake. I told Don he had to leave the office, and for a little more...
So that's when he almost put Lex and Don in the same house, right? Or in the same room or something. One in the chat if you'd... Okay. Yeah, and I've got enough going on here on my end to babysit him out. You'll live. This is how I felt when I sent him to the office. I forgot I told Lex she'd crash that. I felt like I was babysitting him and I was getting mad about what was going on. He's a whole grown-ass man.
Context here is me having a discussion with Rav where I'm realizing my mistake.
I find it funny that Matt calls this a mistake so many times, considering that I told him what day I would be in town. So it's really pretty much up to the viewer whether or not you want to believe him, which is a great excuse considering that he didn't actually have a good reason to do it besides selfish ones.
Despite our delayed action on this, I do want to state unequivocally that Ryan and I never made any attempts to cover up a sexual assault or to aid Don.
If Matt had admitted to knowing better, that means he would have been admitting to helping Don out. There's no world in...
Ryan and I never made any attempts to cover up a sexual assault or to aid Don.
I don't see where the aiding Don was. I don't see where that was. I don't see the aiding Don. You didn't want the story shared. He didn't share the story. He still let other people know that Don was a mess that they probably think twice about working with. I don't understand where the aiding Don is, and I still don't get the cover-up part either. It definitely seems like he's misrepresented his involvement with Don, but that's because that can be explained by the fact they're throwing Don under the bus in these apology videos, which they absolutely did. They were like, let's cut off Don, and hopefully we can escape. Which, I mean, listen, Don's the one who fucked up and got involved with this little hooer, okay? I don't blame him. But that doesn't mean they should lie, obviously. They definitely had more involvement with Don past hearing about this story than what they portrayed.
If Matt had admitted to knowing better, that means he would have been admitting to helping Don out. There's no world in which getting Don to talk it out with me is not helping Don out. Especially when my call...
Listen, I'm sorry, but they've got no obligation to Don. It sounds like this Don guy was an absolute fucking just a loser. Making their place a shit tip. Having to be parented like a fucking child. Getting involved with little hers who are saying that he's sexually assaulting them, whether he did or not. But this guy is just an absolute burden to SuperMega. They would absolutely cut him off, obviously.
Specifically about not wanting to see or talk to Don. Over and over, they take matters into their hands when it really wasn't their business to do so.
I agree, a bit of justice for Don. I don't think he should have been killed, but that doesn't mean that SuperMega should have to fucking stand by his every fuck up.
Opposite of what I had ever asked them to do.
Their actions follow the logic of people that don't think my assault was a big deal. Ryan doesn't mention anything about trying to emotionally blackmail me with being sad at his birthday party after seeing Dawn the same day because of the choices he made, and using me being upset at their lack of communication.
Here's the thing I don't get. Why is, like, consent violation, why is that now a reason for you to lose your whole job? I'm sorry, but you'll be firing, like, you'll literally be cancelling every McDonald's manager out of their position if we're making sure every person who's ever, like, crossed a consent line with an 18-year-old girl has to lose their job. This is going to be mass scale unemployment. Since when did this every guy in corporate America? Yeah, like, it's just, since when did this become justification to make you lose your job? I don't get it. I'm lost. I don't understand where the crossover is. I don't understand how this is accountability.
Communication after that, using that to reject to speak to me because I was upset, to hold my own emotions against me. Ryan held my feelings against me for how he was upset.
A lot has happened to both Lex and I individually, mutually over the last couple months too, and film it, scrambling to deal with that shit. We said there's so much, lost touch with you all. I know that you all have been busy with your life shit and work too, so I wonder if you share that sentiment. I opened up the description. Told you you'll stop, so how this is true. This is just the same message from before.
To hold my own emotions against me. Ryan held my feelings against me for how he handled my trauma. In their videos, they...
Well, actual rape should be prosecuted by the police, really. I don't understand how that should come into play with your job at all. Surely you should lose your job because you're going to prison. Because you're being convicted for rape. How is your job going to investigate whether you raped someone? Like any rape, right? And what is even the... What are they meant to do about it? Okay, they fire you from your job. And then you go and get another job. But even actual rape cases are incredibly hard to prosecute because, yeah, okay, so sucks to suck, I guess. Are you just, so you're just supposed to walk into McDonald's and go like, this manager raped me. This manager raped me. A year ago, we were both drunk at a party. And I said no a couple times, and he kept making moves on me, and I just didn't want to deal with it anymore and let it happen. Fire him now. Fire him. Is that what we're supposed to do? I just don't understand. I don't understand the public call-out thing. I don't understand why this guy's supposed to lose his quote-unquote platform. No, what do you mean? This is literally the point I'm making. If what you're saying is not if what I'm saying right now isn't related to what you said, then you didn't reply to what I said. I'm the streamer. I'm setting the conversation. You're replying to me. I literally can't be off topic. I am the topic. Okay, right. Right, what are you saying? Are you talking about fake rape or actual rape? I'm talking about any rape. What relevance does rape have to your job? What do you mean, who cares? Focus. This is the topic. We're talking about rape. This is literally, it's Bug. You are being wrong right now, Bug. You are causing a problem now, Bug. This is relevant. This is not off topic. She is saying SuperMega should take action against Don because Don broke her consent. Why? What is the justification here? Is your employer supposed to look into rape allegations against you? Is your employer supposed to do the job of the police and investigate a rape? Does anyone think that? If that's not the case, then how are they supposed to take action on it? Yeah, and then let's say your employer decides that either the complaint is serious enough, or there's been enough complaints, or there's been little bits of truth here and there that they've seen that they've got a paper trail of, and they decide to take action. Are they then supposed to divulge the reason for why they took action to any party that asks? These are insane standards that are being set. Yet we have accepted, because I think because of the nature of jobs on social media, where you feel like everyone that you follow, everyone that you're a fan of, everyone that you're that you give money to has to be like a good person off camera or off Twitter. Because of that dynamic, it has now suddenly been, well, don't you know that this person's a bad person and you shouldn't work with them? Well, it's like, no, I don't know that. Yeah, actually, no, we don't know that. There's no proof of that. No, and she wasn't an employee of SuperMega. No, they allowed her, Matt allowed her as a friend to stay in places that Matt had ownership of. Starbucks social media. Hi, yes, our employee Don pulled his balls out showing another employee and kicked them for being a... Oh, yeah. Sorry. Yeah. At points, I guess, a contractor freelancer, because she did a few pieces of art for them. But generally, it was basically just friends with a few bits of work done here and there. It was the sort of laissez-faire relationship you might have commonly in YouTube or Twitter. And you've got a career. So, yeah. I don't understand what the prescription is here. I don't understand what world we're setting up here, where your employer is supposed to not only investigate but take action on sexual assault claims against all employees, but also share that information, not employer, but contractor, whatever, is supposed to share that information with other parties. That's nuts. No. Go to the fucking police.
They imply I wanted to keep it private with no proof.
And she expressed that she did not want this to be a thing that was public.
But thankfully for them, I'm very consistent. And I've specifically spoken to other friends about how they were conversations that I wanted to have in person, not in private. Those are two different words.
Yeah, exactly. If it happens in the workplace, right? If it happens in the workplace, or if you've got... I mean, sure... Okay, it happens in the workplace. How are you... But what if there's no evidence? What if there's no way to investigate? Even then. Okay, so there's a complaint. Someone claims something happened in the workplace. What if there's no evidence? What do you do then? What's the prescription then? Just a complaint. Then HR gets involved and they fire both parties. Sure, but this is like a 3-person company, 5-person company. Yeah, you'd be suspended, there's an investigation, then the report's closed, and then nothing happens, right? I just don't understand. It just seems to be such a... there's just like no analysis going into this. Like, okay, what do we expect these people's obligations to be? What do we expect them to do? What do we expect them to share? But there's none of that thought out. It is just, this person's done something bad to me. They need to suffer. That's the only thought.
In their videos, they lie about cutting off Don personally and professionally, and they don't say when specifically.
Again, after some tiptoeing, we ended up cutting ties with Don, both personally and professionally. We cut all contact with him.
In response to what Lex told us, we removed Don as our channel artist and we cut contact with him 100%.
In August, Ryan liked Don's art and it was posted into the Don channel in the SuperMega server that was still there and was there. And
depends on company really, but any complaint, valid or not, is not good because company doesn't want liability, sure. But don't they also potentially take on liability for unfair dismissal if they get rid of the person? There's contractual reasons why maybe they couldn't just get rid of that person. Obviously, in this case, that wouldn't be true because they were all just fucking contractors. But surely, if some girl at work just makes up a rape allegation, says, "Oh yeah, I got raped in the workplace," and there's no evidence, and you get fired for that, surely that's potentially opening up the company to a lawsuit, no? Most of America is at will, meaning fired for any reason without explanation. Most of America, is that true? It's certainly not the case here. I wouldn't be surprised if it's way more common in America, but is it really most of America? Wow, your country fucking sucks.
Until it was deleted. Matt goes on to showing anonymous Discord screenshots from an anonymous Discord of, quote, anti-SuperMega people who write, quote, child sexual assault fanfiction as proof of a conspiracy against SuperMega by Leighton and Tumad, who is dead now. And also, he immediately...
Wait, who's dead?
Conspiracy sexual assault fanfiction as proof people who write shots from an anonymous Discord of, quote, anti-SuperMega people who write, quote, child sexual assault fanfiction as proof of a conspiracy against SuperMega by Leighton and Tumad, who is dead now. And also, he immediately shit on...
Well, okay, the plan wasn't that it was Leighton and Tumad. Someone in the Discord said that Tumad would talk shit about Matt, I believe, was the claim. Our friend Blank is friends with Tumad, and Tumad hates Matt, so he might have some dirt on him. It wasn't that there was a conspiracy with Tumad. It's just someone is friends with Tumad, and Tumad hates Matt, so we might have some dirt on him. There was no Tumad was not involved in some conspiracy. Also, Tumad's dead? What the fuck?
Child sexual assault fanfiction as proof of a conspiracy against SuperMega by Leighton and Tumad, who is dead now. And also,
I literally just saw him on Overwatch yesterday.
Immediately shit on me as soon as my video came out and blocked me, and now he's dead. So Matt doesn't know I'm a child sex assault survivor, so that's strange that I would hang out in a pedophile Discord. I find that weird that I would do that. That's news to me. I found that out.
Are you sure Tumad is dead? Maybe I should message him to make sure.
When everybody else did, because I didn't know I did that. Matt tries very hard to make his proof look convincing by highlighting the date of the email, which was April 21st, over and over and over. Mind you, that day, I had gauze in my nose from surgery, and I was in Tennessee.
You know, we're getting the trauma dumping now. Okay.
So I don't really know what that's supposed to mean. Anyway, it completely ignores the fact that nobody knows where it's from, who it's from, if it's real or fabricated, and Matt makes no comment about how if it's real or fabricated.
Okay,
nobody knows
here's the thing.
Where it's from, who it's from.
The thing is that we can't be sure where it's from or who it's from, but it would seem bizarre for Matt to have fabricated this piece of evidence on April 21st, 2023. Like, when did SuperMega's...
I wanted to start off...
Like, their responses came out July. So you're saying 2 months earlier, well, end of July, almost June. Fuck me! August! Fuck! Almost August, 31st of July. So you're saying 2 months, 2 and a bit months earlier, he sends to himself
if it's real or fabricated,
blatant evidence.
Matt makes no comment about how most of it is blurred with no reason given. I cannot.
Well, because who knows what's out? Okay, he showed. There could be plenty of reasons for that. There's plenty of reasons to redact information, especially if it's an anti-fan Discord. It could be docs info.
Understate how blurred this email is. Anyway, flimsy evidence aside, you can't blindside someone with information they already knew about. One of the things I find that's interesting that Matt decides to do is he shows our second to last text.
Yeah. So he sent himself an email to keep the evidence there. Yeah. He was sending himself an email on April 21st that had attachments with all of the files, all of the screenshots.
Message exchange and words it as if it's our last time we spoke, when in reality, he showed the last text messages before Leighton.
I did a detailed breakdown of Britney Simon versus lyrics. I'll DM you it. Okay.
Got fired to support his argument.
That communication ceased around the time that we fired Leighton, who is a close friend of hers.
Because I spoke to him 10 days before Creator Clash, before I saw him in person. That was April 5th of last year, 2023. I did not respond to his last message because I didn't feel like talking, because I was crowdfunding a sinus surgery that I would get done immediately after Creator Clash, which the surgery.
Did you? Is this nose job confirmation? Is that what this is? Or is this a actual medical procedure? Okay, this is just bizarre. This is so weird.
Creator Clash is April 15th, and my sinus surgery was on the 20th. So I was drawing art to crowdfund for that surgery. Matt ends his video with pretty much calling everything a personal vendetta. And despite like brushing off that like, oh, well, I'm not trying to validate Lex, like no one hears that, obviously. So this fuels a bunch of stuff. Matt's video implies that I did not speak up for my own empowerment, but for a personal vendetta, implying that sexual assault and a cover-up by people who I thought were helping me somehow wasn't enough.
I'm in no way saying that her coming forward with the Dawn situation is a ploy by Leighton to get us canceled. However, there's a lot of other stuff that I think the dots can be connected.
The messaging in their videos had people walking away thinking that either I was exaggerating about at least some parts of my story, or that I was simply lying about everything. Nick's follow-up video, August 2nd.
Cry
Nick
about it. Okay, but he never said that, did he? He validated your story the whole way.
To make a follow-up video where Nick Nick followed up and just gave a summary of what had happened since my video, or his last video, I guess. He didn't ask me about anything or tell me that he was making it. If he had asked me about it, he would have found out that I hadn't even watched Matt Ryan's videos, or Jim's, I couldn't think of his name, or Jim's video to that point. So I didn't even know what was being said till Ryan's Twitter post in October. So that was what made me actually watch the.
Yeah, didn't Nick say that Lex asked him to make the video, I thought?
To get us canceled. However, there's a lot of other stuff that I think the dots can be connected.
The messaging in their videos had people walking away thinking that either I was exaggerating about at least some parts of my story, or that I was simply lying about everything. Nick's follow-up video, August 2nd. Nick decided to make a follow-up.
Like, dude, this fish is so ill. Oh, okay. So you asked him to make his first video. He makes a second video where he's just like, yo, listen. Wait, no, his second video sucked, didn't it? Wasn't his second video kind of like a double down? But he said he was asked to make it. He said he was asked to make the first one. He said the second video is the one where he goes, listen, I understand my coverage may not have been perfect, but I was doing it for a friend. What do you expect from me? It's my friend. Right? That's that one. Would you expect? You think I should get the facts right? I'm talking about my friends. You think I should interrogate the story a bit? This is my friend. Yeah, I remember. Okay. Okay. And what is this? While editing, oh my fucking god, I just realized his hat. Hello. Dude, this is how you all dress. You all dress like this. This is how all of you look. This is how your boyfriend dresses. What?
Follow-up video where Nick Nick followed up and just gave a summary of what had happened since my video, or his last video, I guess. He didn't ask me about anything or tell me that he was making it. If he had asked me about it, he would have found out that I hadn't even watched Matt Ryan's videos, or Jim's, I couldn't think of his name, or Jim's video to that point. So I didn't even know what was being said till Ryan's Twitter post in October. So that was what made me actually watch their videos. So up until this point, I had no idea what was going on.
He did, however, bring up the text not mentioned by Matt, which I appreciate. Although I think by the time
Sorry.
Jim's, I couldn't think of his name, or Jim's video to that point. So I didn't even know what was being said till Ryan's Twitter post in October. So that was what made me actually watch their videos. So up until this point, I had no idea what was going on.
He did, however, bring up the text not mentioned by Matt, which I appreciate. Although I think by the time Nick's video came out, people had already been encouraged to connect.
You don't have to answer if you don't want to talk about it. Is there a reason you don't have a job anymore? Get out of the place. They just said they're not going to have me do the thumbnails. They're very vague. Jesus, it sucks. WTF. You've been with them so long. It's not some shit you go vague about. I'm done with YouTube. It's done with everything. I can't get a rest because once I get time for myself, I start thinking about it. I get angry and sad and frustrated. Just think about the 2 months I've wasted.
The dots by Matt. So I'm not sure how well received it even was. Nick ends the video by talking about himself a little bit too much. And he says it's the last time he's making a video about my assault. Unfortunately, that was not the truth.
After the
Yeah, because you asking him to make a video about about it in the first place worked him into a horrible position, retard. You asked him to make the first video. Yeah, no shit, he's gonna defend himself if your story starts falling apart.
This Matt, Ryan, Justin, and redacted content creator, I won't say, went to Disney, and I never heard from Justin again.
Yeah, I know. They're like little friend group broke up after the second video, I think.
On the 26th of August is when I unlisted my video. Now, this is about a month, almost an exactly month after I posted my video. Basically, anybody that was supportive filtered themselves out, and the reactionary people that were there to just like make content out of it started flooding in and documenting drama. And it fueled a lot of very victim-blaming comments.
Let's go. Very disgusting she creature.
I, at the time, was
you deserved it, straight up.
Not prepared to handle. I started to get harassed more and more by right-wing commentary, reactionary bastards.
Let's
anyway,
go.
Getting awful comments when I was just not in.
No harassment. I disavow harassment. I'm not right-wing, to be clear. I'm not right-wing.
The mental space to be able to handle them. And without having watched Matt and Ryan's videos until October, I was ignorant to the fact that they had pretty much spent the whole video defending themselves instead of saying anything supportive, and pretty much saying I lied about almost everything except for the assault, and fueling pretty much all the talking points that came to the commentary community. It became pretty overwhelming for me in the mental state I was in, that I was still trying to heal from. So about a month later, I felt that the video had at least served its purpose within like the people that would have wanted to see it.
It's not a reference. It's not a reference to me. As much as I did manage to grab a couple of exclusive bits of content that no one else archived, I think she's probably more talking about Chud than anyone there. I gotta be real. I mean, there's maybe a bit of lyrics because he had that big video on it, right? Didn't he? And then I think Turkey Tom kind of had a big one. Is it Destiny? Because the reason I say Chud is because that group were like slyly referencing him while the drama's going on. Didn't Morgpie mention Chud in her stream? I thought. It could be they're talking about Destiny though. True. But I thought these people didn't have as much interaction with Destiny. I thought it was just Nick is Not Green who had more of a run-in with Destiny, because Destiny fucking hates him, right?
I privated it. I was ready to heal, as I had stated in my previous video. That was how I ended it. I was ready to heal and I wanted to move on. And so I took initiative on what I had stated before. On the 26th, the same day I privated my video, Kelly messaged me on Twitter. And this one I do have a screenshot of. But she was checking in on me, let me know that I could talk to or whatever. Kelly acknowledges that I must have been having a hard time, presumably in reference to the harassment I was getting, and offered reassurance and asked how I was doing. I updated her and told her that I was traveling and I was seeing friends and that I would have liked talking, and I asked to make a call, and she declined and said she wanted to keep texting, and I didn't really know what to think of that. So I didn't respond, and she later unfollowed me. I don't have a date for that, but if I get one, because I have a screenshot of when I noticed.
Since then,
Don's blocked me. Kelly blocked me around the same time. Don changed his username twice. Anyway, Ryan's Twitter post came on October 14th of last year. So 3 months after I posted my video and a month and a half after it had been unlisted. Despite claims of not trying to diminish my assault, Ryan goes on to make a post tagging everyone who he perceives as having wronged him except for Don, the guy who assaulted me. He claims he calls me a liar, everyone else a liar that spoke out on claims that we spoke on Daniel's suicide. Ryan uses angry, passive-aggressive language to guilt.
Wait, but they were all like, they were saying, oh, we're so disgusted by the way they joke about their friend's suicide in private. That's what they were all saying that shit. You were saying that shit. You were dictating how they can and cannot joke about their friend's fucking suicide.
Guilt and shame everyone involved that merely mentioned Daniel's name, liking it to having spoken badly on Daniel himself, using quotes and references to my post and video that isn't about Daniel, but another
It's like, it's so dumb. It's like such a... that is actually one of the grossest. I feel like that gets forgotten. That is one of the most incontrovertible... Like, you can't even... There's no debate on this. It's not like he said, she said... Shit, they both say what happened. That we know what happened. They joke about their friend's suicide. They might call him a pussy or some shit for killing himself. But you don't get to fucking dictate that. You didn't know this guy, or at least didn't know. I don't think she knew this guy. Didn't know him like they did anyway, because they had a whole fucking channel with the guy, a whole like 3-person channel, right? And then you come out publicly and you're like, oh, the way they talk about this is disgusting. No, fuck. Oh, that is not your fucking call, dude. They can talk about however the fuck they want to talk about it. That is in no way your call. That is not your place.
suicide attempt close.
Yeah, Nick is not green. Literally apologized for it. Yeah.
To me that I mentioned.
They found his body. Yeah, fuck. I even forget about that. I think that was said, right? Dude. God, it's so fucked. To go after them for that. Man.
Several times in my 2-hour video.
Also, the specific event is mentioned in the text post that summarizes my video on Twitter as well. Just making it like pretty clear what I'm talking about.
In this post, Ryan...
It just relies on like this lefty Twitter soft attitude where it's like you can't joke about some things, you can't take the piss out of certain things. It's like, no, that's their fucking life. They can joke about it. They can joke about their fucking life, and anyway, they want to joke about their life. That is not your call. But it's trying to apply this like a broad social pressure to something that's like pretty like personal and individual. So wretched, bro.
The specific event is mentioned in the text post that summarizes my video on Twitter as well. Just making it like pretty clear what I'm talking about.
In this post, Ryan does not clarify any of the assumptions that he was making about my video description, whatever, saying whatever that means, assuming everything he didn't know about was about Daniel. For some reason, Ryan's retelling of events and quotes attributed to me are spaced out throughout the post, and in doing so, makes it seem as if I went on a tirade about how his friend committed suicide and not a part of my 2-hour video that is less than 15 seconds long.
Oh, so it's about so the amount you dedicated to the suicide is about the same time you dedicated to the assault then. Okay.
passive-aggressively acknowledges that he did not want to talk about it, which I had no idea about aside from the fact that he rejected talking about things over a year ago. So I'm not sure how I would have known unless I could read your mind, Ryan. And despite that, my quote is attributed to Matt, to which you both had the same justification, to which I say, that's fine, but if you're going around being a douchebag and then you start telling people that didn't know your friend that killed himself that he was a coward, it's going to be kind of hard not to take it as a actual insult. My only ever way of having found out that Ryan was uncomfortable was when I read it when the rest of me and his 300,000 followers did. Rather than having the chance to have spoken to him in private, you both had the same justification, to which I say, that's fine, but if you're going around being a douchebag and then you start telling people that didn't know your friend that killed himself that he was a coward, it's going to be kind of hard not to take it as a actual insult. My only ever way of having...
It's not your fucking place to judge. It's literally not your place to judge, and it's not your place to fucking out that. Please, get a grip. Holy shit. What the fuck? What a nasty bitch. How about you just apologize on that one? Yeah, that is actually, this is just so fucking evil, dude. Like, even if not like a friend killing themselves or something, everyone's got some, you know, personal fucking thing that's probably like pretty deep or traumatizing to most people that they joke about with the people that were involved. I'm sure everyone has got some shit like that in their life that's happened where they joke about it in a way that may be distasteful to others, but because you were involved or other people were involved and you have a mutual understanding of the situation and a shared experience, you joke about it in that way. It is not a third party's place to judge whether that joke is acceptable or not and whether it should be outed at all, ever. The fuck?
But if you're going around being a douchebag and then you start telling people that didn't know your friend that killed himself that he was a coward, it's going to be kind of hard not to take it as a actual insult. My only ever way of having found out that
autism,
Ryan was
because you have female autism
was when I read it when the rest of me and his 300,000 followers did. Rather than having the chance to have spoken to him in private before going public, an offer I've extended multiple times when apparently I shouldn't have. In this post, Ryan passive-aggressively demands I seek accountability, naming out the amount of views a video stream had, which doesn't really work for Ryan when he has more followers on every platform than anyone involved. You know, really make...
The question is, female autism, stronger or weaker? Well, are you not Jay Stalk's editor? You've had to watch hours of Kelly Jean, no?
Makes sense coming from the guy that was sexting fans that he doesn't understand power dynamics, though. Not very surprising that you didn't learn much in 3 months if you were just throwing blame the whole time, because that's not indicative of a man who's trying to change. Ryan doesn't mind going directly to Twitter about an unlisted video of mine to demand an apology for mean comments that some freaks, probably Destiny's audience, made on Daniel's memorial.
Oh, here we go.
Ryan makes it clear that
Wait, what was that?
Ryan doesn't mind going directly to Twitter about an unlisted video of mine to demand an apology for mean comments that some freaks, probably Destiny's audience, made on Daniel's memorial.
Oh yeah, it has to be Destiny's audience. Any evidence? Nope. Not even timestamps. Not even some like, oh look, here's the day Destiny did his coverage. The next day, here are the comments. Here's where they start. Not even that. Just probably Destiny's audience. Okay, that's epic. Okay.
Ryan makes it clear that he doesn't understand what accountability means by passive-aggressively stating that he's taken his, now I need to take mine. Like, okay. For what? He doesn't even say for what. And so any idiot from a third person is going to be like, oh, she lied then. This was the second time he's held my feelings against, my feelings about.
She keeps flashing this message. I don't care. This wasn't bad the first time. I don't care the 5th time you've shown this message in this exact same video.
Him against me to guilt me to try and gain control over a situation. And I should have known that if Ryan was willing to hold my own feelings about my assault against me in private, that he would have no qualms with claiming everyone's a liar and using a trauma against me. Ryan's interpretation of me leaves no wiggle room for other interpretations, despite claiming not knowing, for example, why I took the video down, or not knowing if I have a history of the trauma of death at all.
I can't. A history of the trauma of death. Lex, you're a 30-year-old woman. All 30-year-olds have had someone die. Lex. Lex. You're a fucking adult.
My own feelings about my assault against me in private, that he would have no qualms with claiming everyone's a liar and using a trauma against me. Ryan's interpretation of me leaves no wiggle room for other interpretations, despite claiming not knowing, for example, why I took the video down, or not knowing if I have a history of the trauma of death at all.
So where was the wiggle room for Matt and Ryan's history of trauma with sexual assault that made it hard for them to talk to other people about your sexual assault? What if that was the case, Lex? What if that was the case, Lex? Sorry, what? It's endless charitability. She is the retarded child that we are supposed to coddle at all times. All of her feelings are so valid and must be taken into account. We must mind read them. We must evaluate them as in the best possible light. Because she's Ramona Flowers. She is Ramona Flowers. Did I say charitability? I'm going to... Bug, cut that one out. Charity. Charity, Bug, cut that out. Bug, cut that out. I'm over it. With her own voice, yeah. Yeah, it's just, she is Ramona Flowers. We must coddle her. We must take everything into account all times. She is perfect. She is the queen. The whole world revolves around her. Oh, these are not good comments to see on a rape post. Is this Ming or is this someone else with Ming's? This is Ming. Okay.
At all, to assume that I would criticize someone's suicide in that way. To assume that I was speaking on Daniel is disgusting. Did you even watch my video?
Huh?
To assume that I would criticize someone's suicide in that way. To assume video down, or not knowing if I have a history of the trauma of death at all. To assume that I would criticize someone's suicide in that way. To assume that I was speaking on
Who said that you were criticizing their suicide?
Daniel is disgusting. Did you even watch my
You spoke on the way they interact with their friend's suicide. Yeah, that's what you spoke on.
My video? Because there's no other way to take how you speak in your post besides that I was talking about Daniel. When I was talking about how he was being spoken about by y'all who are still alive. Speaking in a disgusting way, which I didn't...
Not your place to say! Not your place to say, Hua. Okay? Keep your fucking mouth shut on this one, maybe. Just an idea. Holy fuck. She is the what? She would be a great Destiny Orbiter. Latina Lav.
Didn't even accuse Ryan of. I've only accused Matt of because I heard him say it twice, and I will stand by that. From how passive-aggressively Ryan words his post, I don't know if Ryan understands why victims speak out at all. They speak out on what happened as if I'm only bringing it up because I'm mad, a personal vendetta. They phrase
Jangling the incel keys today.
phrase everything as if this event happened in a vacuum, rather than this being the eventual outcome of pledging support to someone, then ignoring and gaslighting them when they want to talk. Making the choice to say that everything I said except for the assault was a lie and putting it into question, and also claiming that everything that wasn't written explicitly in writing was a lie, while also claiming to support me, have supported me right out the gate, before shifting negative focus onto me rather than having any words to say about the guy who assaulted me. Nick made 5 different apologies, apologized for pretty much any involvement.
Oh no.
Says he shouldn't have involved himself, invalidating. Nick was just basically apologizing for whatever he was getting harassed for in the moment, and then said he was going to stop posting about it and then cut me off. I sent Nick our first text since March 22, 2020.
Okay. Okay, Lex. Okay, Lex. All right, Lex. What did you have to say in this text that you made Nick read? Nick, I think you need to realize that you have not communicated with us at all. Our last text messages are from March of last year. How can blame others for videos that you agreed to making on the outcome of them? You haven't spoken to me about this since you made the first video. After this, you went on to make multiple response videos without saying anything to us, making the situation even worse each time. I had to find out through hate comments that you'd made a new video each time it happened, rather than us having an open line of communication as things happened. Why? Were you upset at us and didn't want to speak? If that's the case, how can we do something about something you haven't spoken to us about? Waiting until a situation is this bad is not how I want to find out that you have a problem with us. It makes me feel like you didn't have good intentions making the video, especially when I'm reminded so often of Instagram stories you've made roasting SuperMega, because it is being used to invalidate my sexual assault. I made a video talking about how they covered it up, and I still didn't want any posts like that, Nick. There was a lot of things fucked up on, and avoiding responsibility by saying, you pressured me into making a video and this is stressful for me to us, and in a video, walk away when this is my whole life, and I don't get to do that. You need to realize how performative that is, Nick. You need to take ownership for the mistake of speaking on a situation you didn't know, rather than blaming others. The moment you stopped communicating with us about a very serious topic, and went on your own about it, is the moment you started making videos about things you had no idea about. I was the one assaulted, and it feels like you played around with my life until things got too hot for you, instead of actually trying to support me as a victim, or even just as a friend. There's so many things you could have found out sooner if you'd just spoken whenever you had a question. Biggest of all is simply even just how we feel personally, or our intentions without having to assume. But again, I hate when people do this. It's like, there are things you could have found out by speaking to me. Yeah, like what? Well, my intentions. Well, your words don't really mean shit in terms of your intention. I'll determine your intention from your actions, actually. Thank you. If you've got facts or evidence that might change my perspective, then yeah, sure. But if all you're going to do is tell me what your intentions were, fuck off. No, I don't need to hear that. That's not relevant. That's actually not relevant, to be honest. I'll talk about your actions. Yeah, she's including Ethan with we. So Nick was getting obliterated for doing something she asked him to do, and she never checked in. Well, I mean, that's one way of looking at it, isn't it? I have Google Docs of the script I'm making. I could have gladly showed you if you wanted to communicate with me directly as well. The video is taking so long because there is so much shit they lied about in both. This video took so long. This video sucks. You showed the same piece of evidence like 6 times and act like it proves more things. It's taken me weeks to write and gather evidence for the video. I'm still healing from trauma, and it's been really mentally taxing to have to go through this and to relive everything to condense it into a video. I haven't worked on it every day because the other days I've just been resting to work on it more. It's been consuming my life for the past 2 weeks. I bought Final Cut, if not just to make this. I'm not as fast at this because I'm not a YouTuber. If you'd asked me, can your boyfriend not help you? If you'd asked me, I would have spoken to you sooner. If we'd spoken sooner, your original response video could have had all this in it. I need you to tell me directly if you're going to speak to me or not. I want you to put effort in to communicate because I can't even defend you at all if you don't want to speak about any of this after everything has happened. You think maybe your strawman voices make us hear this in an unfair way? It's my nagging woman voice. And I think that's a fair way to hear it, actually.
Me too. And he doesn't respond and then goes on to make a 5th apology. Crazy, right? And his 5th apology is still up. That's the I make harmful content one. And the goalposts have been moved so much, he's basically apologizing for like his whole career, which that just has nothing to do with me at that point. But Nick was being held performative by only standing up for me when it was convenient for him. So that's pretty like dirty move. He needs to get better values for real, for real. I just kind of feel bad for him that he like... He
so funny
himself.
seeing them all turning on each other. It's so good, man. This is epic.
Too. I mean, shit. Accountability is not punishment.
A little bit.
The difference between accountability and blame is...
Wait. Accountability is not punishment, but you want this guy dead.
For real. I just kind of feel bad for him that he betrayed himself, too. I mean, shit. Accountability is not punishment. The difference between accountability and blame is that accountability is established before and blame is established after. Now... Keeping that in mind, to make an apology would not be genuine, as the circumstances in which they were demanded were to humiliate rather than to mend any relationship that doesn't exist between Ryan and I, and therefore would be merely for public gesture. It's not a situation that can be repeated again, and this leaves a fundamental gap in the structure of...
We can save Nick. Guys, we must save Nick. We must save Nick. We will Clockwork Orange, Nick is not green. With Sam Hyde content. And, I don't know, something else that's kind of funny and based. To make him act like less of a fucking F-slur.
An apology, which is the promise to not repeat the mistake. Using Nick's apology as an example... Not only do I think Nick didn't know what he was apologizing for, which fed into it feeling fake, but I have no reason to not believe that giving into such public humiliation and apologizing for other people's actions would further Daniel's memory being used as a bargaining chip for onlookers.
You know what? I want Nick is not green to make 6 videos clowning on Lex in the most misogynistic way possible. Yeah, absolutely. I'll be a Nick is not green Patreon sub for that. Honest, like, that'd be epic.
Who care much more about internet drama from their favorite YouTube grifter and not giving respect to sexual assault victims,
I'm a YouTube
much
grifter.
Less victims of suicide. Giving a fake apology would be incredibly dishonest, and considering the original context of this topic was a video of me talking about my assault and how it got covered up, I find it incredibly credits from Chip for other people's actions would further Daniel's memory being used as a bargaining chip for onlookers who care much more about internet drama from their favorite YouTube grifter and not giving
Eric at I Love SuperMega at Nice Updog. You also ruined the lives of 2 very funny people, all because you wanted to defend your friend after he got fired for made up a story about sexual assault. Saying yes, even after you said no the first time, means you give consent. Get your screws tightened in your head, clown. Hey.
Respect to sexual assault victims.
You forgot false SA accuser in your bio.
Much less
don't you?
Victims of suicide. Not giving respect to sexual assault victims, much less victims of suicide.
Go back to nobody knowing who the fuck you are, you stupid. Look at me, I need attention, see. Knife.
Giving a fake apology would be incredibly dishonest, and considering the original context of this topic was a video of me talking about my assault and how it got covered up, I find it incredibly inappropriate.
That's terrible stuff. I can't. The harassment's terrible, isn't it, guy? I fucking hate harassment. Harassment is. I do disavow it, but some of those messages are funny.
I want to make a few things clear before we go.
It's clear that
what is the pout? Why is she pouting?
I want to make a few things clear before we
I want to make a few things clear before we go. I want to make a few... Why does she do that? What's the fucking thing? What's the... Do you know the fingers together emoji? The looking down fingers together emoji thing? That retarded shit? This is what's got... What? Wait, why is she kind of bad, chat?
It's a video of me talking about my assault and how it got covered up. I find it incredibly inappropriate.
I want to make a few things clear before we go.
It's clear that what I have to say in regards to Don's behavior, their behavior, didn't matter considering they tried to control the situation long before it was ever public. There's a clear power imbalance that was used against me.
Where's Mr. Girl? Someone call Mr. Girl. Max Carson, can you analyze the power here? It's like, it's not even, this is the thing, is that you can joke about the Mr. Girl stuff, and Mr. Girl will explain when he thinks the power imbalance is being misused. But are we going to get that from Lex? Okay, we accept. They owned the place you were staying, and they have more money and influence than you. Okay, they do have a little bit of power. How did they misuse it?
Make a few things clear before we go.
It's clear that what I have to say in regards to Don's behavior, their behavior, didn't matter considering they tried to control the situation long before it was ever public.
There's a clear power imbalance that was used against me once it was perceived that I could possibly have a story that could ruin SuperMega. This couldn't have happened if they did the right.
So, dude, I can't. I don't want to do this. But her face looks so stiff.
Thing. Despite this, Matt and Ryan still chose to react the way they did. Why? It's because they weren't confused. Matt and Ryan immediately became defensive and secretive over word of my assault before any expression to go public had ever been expressed. Matt's attempt to sweep it under the rug failed after I denied an offer to an apartment while he was intoxicated. He had apologized right before. Matt gave conditions with the gift offer of paying for a place for me, which would have been me living alone in a city with no car, a city I was new to, an apartment of which wouldn't have been paid by me or been in my name. Accepting this would have been giving someone direct authority and financial control over me while I lived alone. During my stay at their office, Matt and Ryan used the same motive for protecting themselves to monitor me and had their employees do the same. Once it was clear I wasn't simply letting my sexual...
What else? Okay, so they offered you a place. What were the conditions? You said there were conditions on it. What were the conditions?
Assault go. Their smear campaign began amongst people that I thought were my friends. This ultimately led to Matt and Ryan hearing through an employee that I was displeased about their response to Don before I could tell them personally, in which Ryan's response to this was to attempt to guilt me into silence over bringing it up. Don is an admitted compulsive liar. He's a manipulator. He hides behind fictional personas and his artistic talents. He does not care about consent. There are 2 known instances in which he has ignored a woman and admitted to this was to attempt to Don before I could tell them personally.
Okay.
In which Ryan's response to this was to attempt to guilt me into silence over bringing it up. Don is an admitted compulsive liar. He's a manipulator. He hides behind fictional personas and his artistic talents. He does not care about consent. There are 2 known instances.
What? Okay, evidence? Source?
In which he has ignored a woman telling him no, then going on to apologize only after coercing them and assaulting them. This is a pattern of behavior that will not stop if others around him are constantly aiding and enabling and making excuses for him. Most likely, Don will get away from this fine.
But they cut him off.
And many have wondered how. Don... This is a pattern of behavior that...
we showed the cat photo earlier, DK.
Ignored a woman telling him no, then going on to apologize only after coercing them and assaulting them. This is a pattern of behavior that will not stop if others around him are constantly aiding and enabling and...
Yeah, she sucked this dude off, yeah.
Making excuses for him.
Most likely, Don will get away from this fine.
What is your excuse, incel? What's your excuse, incel?
And many have wondered how. Don, generally speaking, does not have a parasocial fan base in the same manner as Matt and Ryan. My condemnation of Don only influences people so far as people with morality, as I don't have parasocial fans. The true lack of accountability stems from a lack of condemnation from Matt and Ryan to Don. How? Well, they decide to focus on publicly shaming me for speaking out about what happened rather than simply condemn what took place. They knowingly use their social influence to shift the audience focus from Don and their actions to questioning my motives and shifting the blame onto me. To this day, I've hidden from posting publicly for around as long as the man who assaulted me has, because the fans of the friends I trusted telling my assault about wouldn't stop harassing me daily. Despite this, many wonder why Don doesn't get as much flack and blame my timeline of my original video.
Wait. No way is there a new... Has there been an update on Solium? Are you crazy? There's DLC. Belphegor, Paragon of Impiety. Yo. Patch live plus 3 new content. That's huge.
Because nobody realizes that Matt and Ryan don't focus on what Don did to me was wrong.
Right, we'll pull this up. Belphegor. This is Don, apparently. Okay.
They speak about how what they think I did was wrong to them. Matt and Ryan decided to get themselves involved further than what was ever asked, of which I had asked them to keep me away from Don in person. I was assaulted and people who I thought were my friends covered it up to protect their YouTube channel. Those same friends then hid behind problems they have with other
Where's the cover-up? I still haven't seen the cover-up.
people to make it look like I had ill intentions by speaking out about getting assaulted and their actions afterwards. They used their own agendas of prioritizing their YouTube channel and
she said that she didn't want them to share the story, no?
having a good reputation to attempt to
Why would they share the story? Why would they tell people this guy's a rapist? They don't know that for a fact. They can't investigate that. There's no evidence.
gaslight and manipulate me into silence. With their actions, Matt and Ryan have shown everyone from their videos the lengths they're willing to go to lie, manipulate, triangulate, gaslight, to cover for their own bad behavior, to have you, the viewer, feel bad for them. Unfortunately, I allowed Matt and Ryan to manipulate me by my projection onto them of who they were, or rather, who I thought they were. Or rather, who they portray themselves as. I consistently gave them the benefit of the doubt even when it went against my own wisdom to do so, simply because we were friends. It wasn't until after watching their videos and how I saw that they had manipulated the story to their own benefit when I truly realized what was taking place. The same self-serving motivations to further their career that was given from the very beginning. What I thought was internet gossip ended up being a direct cover-up, using an audience willing to reject reality for their version of it.
Reject reality? How?
Instead of making an actual response, it's simply just easier to make a last-minute video lying. There's no need to defend yourself when your parasocial audience sees you as the reason why their favorite YouTubers stop posting. Matt and Ryan downplaying their actions and even their own knowledge leads people to be sympathetic to them through their own pre-established parasocial relationships. They lie to their fans who would have believed them and stuck around even if they had told the truth. And they use their audience's attachment to them against people who threaten them. Believing that...
Sorry, wait. You're just lying. She's just fucking lying. What do you mean that audience would have stuck around? Excuse me, one of the... Well, it's not one of the most popular on my video on my channel.
Okay,
Not
so
you and your boyfriend fucking celebrating their downfall
Yeah, Five Nights at Freddy's.
with a fucking sub counter.
Despite
Or-
overwhelming evidence of intent, their favorite content creators are just simply ignorant little boys. Their audience enables and infantilizes 30-year-old men they wish to protect from their own actions. Matt and Ryan's act of feigning ignorance and convenient forgetfulness enables them to self-victimize themselves as a response to someone speaking out on being sexually assaulted, an actual crime. This upload falls on April, which is Sexual Assault Awareness Month. For many, the internet is often the only choice in speaking out. The justice system is notorious for not helping sexual assault victims. In North America, 1 in 4 women will experience sexual assault, rape, or attempted rape in their lifetime.
I want to drop a disclaimer that there's a lot of discrepancies between this particular statistic. I got this one that I said in my video originally from this one, and I'll link it because I got it because it's from 2020. So it seems like the most recent one out of all of them that I'd looked at. And here is where I got that statistic.
This is epic. This is the new tech, isn't it? This is amazing.
In their lifetime.
I want to drop a disclaimer that there's a lot of discrepancies between this particular statistic. I got this one that I said in my video originally from this one, and I'll link it because I got it because it's from 2020. So it seems like the most recent one out of all of them that I'd looked at. And here is
PubMed
where
much?
I got that statistic from. However, there's this statistic that is 1 in 5 women. This particular website is the National Sexual Violence Resource Center, and it says 1 in 5 women experienced attempted or completed rape during their lifetime. And it says 1 in 3 women between age 11 and 17. So it varies based off of your age as well. Funny enough, one that I actually was not looking for was between 2 and 10% are
Wait, how's it?
false reports. Yeah, of course it's low.
That also says 1 in 4 men, so basically everyone.
People barely report it to begin with. The 1 in 6 statistic comes from the Rape, Abuse, Incest National Network. A lot of very awful words together in one thing. It took a second. And that's where I have the third one, the third statistic that varies. But I can't find a date on this one. So that's why
women do be getting raped.
in
Women do be getting raped.
the video.
Nobody
And
disagrees.
regardless, I'll be putting these in the description so you can look at all the resources that I have shown to you so far.
Despite this, less than 5% report these to the police. Shame and fear being one of the largest reasons why. 310 out of 1,000 women go to the police. When they do go to the police, will experience sexual assault, rape, or attempted rape.
Please, for the love of God, look at the header of this and try not to laugh. Dude.
In their lifetime. 25 out of 1,000 are convicted of a crime. I hope this can shed some light on why women don't go to the police immediately. Beyond that, it extends the trauma of having to retell a story over and over in court. Whether to the cops or anyone else, this rings true for victims. People don't speak out when they feel scared. When someone says that I'm making it harder for victims to speak out, I know that isn't true, because others have felt empowered enough to tell me their stories privately and publicly in response to my story, some for the first time.
What scares people is the
Dude,
reaction.
they always do this, don't they? It's a good thing, because everyone's coming out about their stories. Everyone's accusing everyone of rape now.
From others. When we expect perfection out of victims, it shifts the attention off of the person that made them a victim in the first place. It should be okay to speak out about assault online. If you've held something in like this before, you know how it can be life-altering to finally let it go. To speak on it and move past it.
To attack?
Nobody deserves to stay silent.
Do you feel like you've moved past it, or do you feel like you're desperately trying to kill this guy?
I'm not going to be silent because of anyone. I'll be leaving links in the description that go into detail of cycles of manipulation and abuse in case anyone would like to read further into the topic. Spotting the behavior is the first step to enable yourself to protect yourself, to create better boundaries against people who can benefit to manipulate you. As I move forward, I would appreciate any support or any words of encouragement. It would mean so much. Also, if you're comfortable, I would like to encourage a space where anyone can feel safe to share any stories or advice in the comments. Anything that you'd be willing to share about your experiences with abuse. Someone might really benefit from hearing your story. This experience made me realize that the courage it takes to speak out and the empowerment that comes from it is contagious. I hope that telling my story can maybe help someone learn that what they've dealt with in their own lives could be abuse, so they can start to find support. If I could at least help one person, then this was all worth it.
Guys.
I hope you have a good day.
Stop the countdown. Go on now. How's it going for her? Oh no, yeah. Whoa. She's getting eviscerated in the comment section. DK, you're retarded. It says, 1 in 5 women in the United States experience completed or attempted rape during their lifetime. About 1 in 4 male victims of completed or attempted rape first experienced it between the ages of 11 and 17. So it's of victims, 1 in 4 were between 11 and 17. This is of women, 1 in 5 are victims. Oh, to the right of the woman one. Nearly a quarter of men experience some form of contact sexual violence in their lifetime. 81% of women, 43% of men here. Wait. Is this for real? 91%. So it's literally, it's 8% of rapes against women are strangers. Man, that's so funny. It's not, sorry, no, I don't mean it's funny. It's funny because you hear women spin up these bizarre stories about why they need pepper sprays and rape alarms and how their tendons are going to get slashed from underneath a car. It's 8%. I've said to said to women for them, like right now, I am probably statistically the most likely person to rape you, not some stranger. Lex, let's not forget about how when I originally talked to you and posted about Don grooming me, you backed him up and continued being his friend. I was foolish to make tweets about this situation back in the summer before I realized the full situation. In my experience talking to you directly in the past, you acted like a snake. Yes, you agree that Don fucked up, but you also said you supported me and didn't hold him accountable with me at all. Now you know how it feels to be me. When I felt all alone and afraid and people didn't believe me. When my letters account got mass reported by Don's followers and suspended. You're so pissed about people not supporting you, but where were you in the past for me?